Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me. My name is Nikolai. I'm the CEO of the Financial Commission. I'm here today to talk to you about our monthly complaints digest, which is basically an analysis of our key operating metrics every month, every quarter, every year. Just yesterday, we published our monthly complaints digest for May with a comparison of statistics with the previous month, which was April. So today, I want to briefly touch on a few of the data points and kind of go into a little bit more detail and explain how things have been going here for us and kind of what we're seeing in the Forex and CFD industry and just general trends in our operations. So if you take a look at the report we published yesterday, you'll notice that we mentioned that we had a 30% increase in the amount of complaints that were filed at the Financial Commission. So that's really a change of 126 complaints that were filed in April of this year and 165 complaints that were filed in May. Now, a 30% increase does seem quite high, but it was for us expected because of the ongoing disruptions, so to say, and also heightened market volatility that's going on around the globe as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we anticipated such increases in our activity, so to say, or in trader activity. So we were well staffed to be able to investigate and resolve complaints in a pretty quick and straightforward way. And I'll talk a little bit later about sort of the key metric that we look at to judge how swiftly or how effectively we resolve our disputes, on a monthly basis. Now, also in our report, we indicated that the total amount sought from traders, that's really the amount that traders are asking the Financial Commission to award them in resolving a dispute if the Financial Commission finds that the client should be awarded some funds. That metric went up by 275%, so roughly a 3 times increase from April to May. And the total money that was sought by traders or requested by traders in May totaled to a little bit over $2.5 million. Now, that is a pretty drastic increase from 689,000, which we saw in April of this year. But again, going back to some of the things that are going on both globally in general and also specific to the Forex and CFD industry, we see that the amount of new traders that are coming into this specific subset of financial products is increasing at a rapid pace. And we also see a lot of interest in Forex and CFDs from the general public, which has seen global financial markets rise and fall quite quickly in the last few months, and are also wondering how they can take advantage of some of these opportunities. Now, in the increased trader activity and in the increased trading that customers are doing on their trading accounts, obviously there are issues that arise, there are questions that arise that sometimes brokers are not able to answer or are not able to answer in a quick way. So customers are able to come to us at the Financial Commission and receive a pretty straightforward and swift reply from us. So in general terms, we see a lot of our operating metrics increasing month over month, really since March, as a result of this increased activity from traders, the general public, and because of the market movements that we are witnessing, in the previous couple of weeks and the previous months. If we take a look at how much money we actually awarded to traders in May, that statistic actually jumped even higher as compared to just the amount of money that traders were seeking. There was really a 20 times increase in the amount of compensation that we awarded to traders from April to May. And that's really because of several outliers, several complaints that had a very high value, or the money that was being requested by traders was significant. And we were able to rule some complaints in favor of the customer or the trader. And hence, in total, we awarded a little bit over $1 million to traders in May of 2020. Now, in April, that figure was significantly lower. It was about $50,000, which is obviously a drastic, a drastic difference. Now, if we look at the amount of money that traders had sought and traders were actually awarded, we actually see that that percentage actually improved significantly as well. So it went up roughly 4.5 times as compared to when comparing April to May. And in May, roughly 40% of all the money that I had mentioned that was requested by traders in their filed complaints was actually paid out to them as a result of complaints being resolved and brokers satisfying the decisions in those complaints and paying the customer out the funds that are awarded to them. Now, perhaps our most important metric is the average dispute resolution time for all complaints. Now, this is our most important metric because it gives you the opportunity to understand how quickly it takes to get from point A, which is filing a complaint on our official website, to point B, which is the complaint being fully resolved and is either a decision being made in the favor of the broker, in favor of the client, or no decision being made with respect to any party, because perhaps there is not an actual issue or dispute to be had. Sometimes, unfortunately, traders have misconceptions. Sometimes they have questions or, let's say, answers that they just don't understand. And if they're not well educated enough to be trading in a live trading account, oftentimes, that lack of education leads to certain mistakes or certain things that are not well understood, and it leads the trader to file a dispute with the financial commission. But the financial commission will ultimately determine that there is an actual issue to be investigated. It's simply just a mistake that may have happened on the part of the trader, like I said, or sometimes also on the part of the broker, if there was perhaps something omitted or something missed in the direct communication or work that the broker does directly with the customer. So going back to average dispute resolution time, if you look at some of our statistics from a quarterly perspective, or you take a look at some of our statistics on an annual perspective, you'll see that our dispute resolution times are usually very quick, meaning that roughly between, let's say, 6, 7 to 10 to 12 to 15 days is how quickly the financial commission usually is able to resolve a dispute. And if we take a look specifically at that metric, we'll see that in May 2020, as published in our report yesterday, our average dispute resolution time for all complaints that we reviewed and ruled upon in May was 7.5 days. Now that's roughly a 21% improvement over the same metric a month before, in April 2020. In April 2020, the average resolution time was 9.52 days. Now, it does seem, kind of rudimentary to be comparing the number of days month over month, but at the same time, when looking at the feedback that we get from traders really on a daily basis, the difference of 1, 2, or 3 or even 5 days actually makes a big difference with respect to their anticipation of us being able to provide them with some, thorough analysis and a determination on what exactly happened with their issue, with their broker, and how that issue can be resolved. Now, it's important to note that there are other organizations out there in our industry that are able to take on disputes, investigate disputes, and resolve disputes which arise between traders and their brokers, their Forex and CFD brokers. Really, all of those other alternatives are government regulators. Some of them are well known for example, the NFA in the United States, the FCA in the United Kingdom, and ASIC in Australia all have mechanisms for traders who are trading with brokers registered in those countries or in those jurisdictions to be able to submit complaints or issues that they're having with their broker, and have the government regulator or the government body take a look at that issue and provide some kind of resolution. Now, if you take a look at the resolution times and statistics of these government regulators, you'll notice that the time that it takes them to resolve a dispute is usually a few months, if not longer. And the reason being is that the processes there are, I would say, probably heavily regulated and are heavily augmented to take a particular process or take particular steps. But at the same time, the Financial Commission and our dispute resolution process also has a very thorough and unique approach. I would just argue that we are able to do this much quicker because our organization was founded and operates specifically to offer these kind of free services to traders and help them and their broker really resolve any issues that may have been, may have arisen. Now, if we kind of delve deeper into some of the statistics that we look at on a month-over-month basis, and some of this information is also provided in yesterday's published report, we take a look at the types of complaints that are being received. So, are they related to trading? So, actual customers trading on their trading account, placing orders, placing trades. Are they related to financial matters, which are specific to depositing funds into a trading account or withdrawing money from a trading account? Or perhaps they don't fit into any of these two categories and they're what we call non-trading complaints. Now, if we take a look at these metrics on a month-over-month basis from April to May, we see that we had a significant increase in trading-related complaints between April and May, roughly a 51% increase from 33 cases in April to 50 cases in May. Now, for us, that's quite a significant increase, but as I mentioned before, we anticipated that we would see more trading-related complaints as more and more traders are trading the markets because they're seeing the market volatility globally and want to take advantage. I'm speaking specifically about people who already have trading accounts at Forex and CFD brokerages. But there's also that massive interest from the general public or people who have traded, let's say, the equities markets before, that are also getting into Forex and CFDs and are trying to take advantage of market movements. And if we recall things like the recent crash in West Texas Intermediate oil prices, which first crashed on the futures market and then consequently led to a crash in prices on the CFD markets for that type of oil contract, we see that a certain amount of traders were involved in trades on that market at that time, and hence they had issues and problems with their trading positions as a result of these market moves, which again, they are coming to us and asking us to investigate those issues and problems and try to make a determination on what exactly happened and who is at fault, and perhaps there is no dispute to be had, and there is no money or other compensation to be awarded to either party. So we did see a significant increase in trading related complaints. We still see, let's say, an elevated amount of financial related complaints. So if we look at May 2020 and we look at of all the complaints that were filed, how many were related to trading and financial, we see that financial complaints really took the majority. About 47% of complaints in May were related to financial issues. Now, those financial issues are also tied to trading. Sometimes when the markets are very volatile, a broker may have a situation where their website or the functionality for depositing funds may not be available for a certain period of time. Those kind of situations are also reviewed and handled by the Financial Commission and our Dispute Resolution Committee. So we're able to judge kind of those situations and determine, who's at fault and whether or not any compensation should be awarded, or whether or not some other changes need to take place, perhaps to satisfy this particular complaint, or to satisfy traders going forward if it's something that could be, let's say, a systemic issue, so to say. We also look at something called an average complaints value. So we look at the overall number of money that's being sought from traders on a monthly basis, on a quarterly and annual basis. And we look at, we divide that by the overall number of complaints. Now, this metric last month, as compared to April, also increased significantly, increased by 214%. So in April, the average complaint value for all complaints was $6,346. It shot all the way up to $19,927 in May, which again echoes the points I made earlier with respect to the value of complaints that we are seeing on a month-to-month basis, that value increasing significantly as more and more traders are actively trading the markets and are taking, you could argue, taking riskier bets or opening larger trades to try and take advantage and make a positive return on some of these market movements that they're seeing. So complaints value is also something that is going up month over month. But again, it's not something that is worrisome for us because, we've been in business since 2013. And with the amount of staff that we have internationally located in different time zones, as well as some of the operational efficiencies that we kind of worked on last year in 2019. And you could read up a little bit more about these if you take a look at our annual report from last year. Some of these operational efficiencies have made it a lot easier for us to take on a much larger amount of complaints every month and take on more substantial complaints every month and still be able to confidently investigate and resolve them within the reasonable time frame, which I discussed earlier, which is the average dispute resolution time, which again last month was 7.5 days. We can also take a look at some more detailed metrics. We also look at complaints and statistics related to complaints with respect to our broker members. So those are the brokers that you'll find in the members section of our official website. But there's also complaints that are filed with us on a monthly basis against non-members. So essentially against firms and brokerages that are not specifically members of the Financial Commission today, but their clients and their traders are actively seeking help in getting answers to some particular questions, or they have a specific issue that happened on their trading account, and they're asking us as an organization to take upon such a complaint and be able to guide the trader, give the trader some guidance so they could better understand what exactly happened and understand if there's any liability in a sense on the broker's part with respect to what happened. Now, if we take a look at the amount of complaints that were actually filed against non-members of the Financial Commission, we actually saw a drop month over month between April and May. So in April, we saw 22 complaints filed against non-members. Last month, we saw only 17. So that's roughly about a 30% drop in the amount of complaints for non-members. The other metric, which is the amount of money that was sought by traders who are trading at brokerages who are non-members, that number also dropped significantly, dropped about 130% from $100,000 to about $43,500 in May. What does that really tell us? Well, I think from one perspective, I think there are, since traders are trying to take advantage of what's going on in the markets today, I think a lot of traders are seeing are seeing liquidations. So they're taking riskier bets, and unfortunately, their positions and their orders oftentimes are being liquidated because they don't have enough um, margin in their account or equity in their account to be able to hold those positions. And so, if we're speaking about trading related complaints from non members, I think we're seeing less and less of those because it's quite an understandable thing to be happening. You don't have enough money in your account to be holding positions, and hence your positions are liquidated, and unfortunately you lose the funds in the funds in your account. At the same time, our organization does a lot of work to, on the one hand, alert the general public with respect to scams or any kind of possible fraudulent activity or brokerage websites that may be clones of other legitimate companies. So we do a lot of work to warn the general public of schemes or scams or fraudulent activity that goes on, unfortunately, in the industry. And we believe that with us doing this kind of work and other organizations as well as government regulators around the world also supporting these efforts, we're able to educate the general public and traders in our industry as well to know what to watch out for, to know how to evaluate a brokerage or an online broker before opening an account, to make sure that they're going to be trading and conducting business with a legitimate company. And we feel like this practice is working, and customers are increasingly choosing to open accounts with regulated brokers or brokers, for example, who are members of our organization, and they understand that there are certain protections that are given to them from regulated brokers as well as brokers that are members of the Financial Commission. So we're seeing sort of a downtrend in the activity of traders who are working with brokers who are not regulated with our organization. Um, Besides this, we are seeing quite a lot of just general public inquiries from the general public and traders who are trading with brokers who are not our members, with respect to checking prices for specific trades. This is a theme that has developed over the course of last year, over the course of 2019. We have mentioned before that traders are really becoming more and more price sensitive. They are really concerned about getting the best possible price for their trade or their order that they want to place in a particular market at any particular point in time. And because pricing is so important to traders, we've gone ahead and offered our broker members services where they can actually show traders that on a monthly basis, they're doing their best and reasonably providing the best possible prices to be able to execute trades on. And we see these type of inquiries pretty much daily at our organization, and they continue to this day. And we will continue to effectively respond to such requests and point people or point traders into in the direction of using some free resources that are actually available to them out there, where they can basically use a web-based service to essentially compare the trades or compare the prices at which their trades or orders were executed, compare those to basically a snapshot of many, many other pricing and trading providers around the world to see, the quality of the execution of their trade or order, and see if it was really in line with what was going on in the market at that specific point in time or not. And if it wasn't, then perhaps they have an avenue to pursue to pursue that as a complaint or as an issue that they'd like us as the Financial Commission to look into. So I hope that you've enjoyed our or my analysis today of our monthly dispute resolution statistics. As the second quarter of the year comes to a close, we'll be doing a more thorough semi-annual review of our operating metrics, and I anticipate that sometime in July I'll be able to share that with you also in a video format, and we will publish those statistics on our official website for your review as well. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, you can navigate to our official website, which is financialcommission.org. And you can easily submit us a comment or a question, and we'll be glad to address it and help you out in any way we can if you are a trader. And if you are a broker, I think some of the statistics and um, data that I have discussed today gives you a good idea of how effectively our organization helps both traders and brokers resolve issues and improve sort of the general work that happens in our industry, and also provide valuable insights to brokers on how they could actually improve their operations, in the long term, to be able to provide customer satisfaction to their traders, to keep their traders happy, and to ensure that there's a longevity in trading with one broker or another. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much for joining me, and have a great day.